Hello, my name is Nicholas Mitchell and I am the programming librarian here at Fountaindale, and I'm going to show you how to make a macrame keychain. So we have our ropes, we have our two different pieces of ropes, they're about 50 inches long, and then we're going to put them onto our key ring right here using this kind of loop that you can do. So when you get the rope, you want to make a loop with it and then slide that loop through the key ring. So you can see here that the loop went through the key ring, and then you pull the rest of the rope back through that loop. So it kind of creates this knot almost onto the key ring. So that's what we're gonna be working on the most, so once we get those done, we wanna get this spread out so that we can see all of our different ropes so that we don't get any confusion with what's going on. So when we have all of our different ropes, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this left rope right here, and it's gonna go over these two center ropes, but it's gonna go under the right rope. So it's gonna look like this. Now, with the right rope, that's gonna go under the two ropes in the middle, but it's also going to go up and through this little loop that's created from the left rope. So now we have, grab the wrong rope. So then when oh man, I really messed it up. Hold on, give me a second. Please pause for technical difficulties. All right, there we go. So we have now this nice, cool, loose knot. That's the start of the square knot that we're gonna keep going. So we're gonna slide that up. Just because this is a pain to tighten, I like to put my forearm on the middle strings, and then I'll tighten these two knots so that it kind of gets to where it needs to go. Yeah. So the whole thing with this particular project is that you want to keep it nice and tight, and that's kind of difficult because of the ropes that we're using. They're naturally airy because they're stuffed with cotton and they're wrapped in a net, so they start to fray a little bit more than you want them to, but that's okay. In the end of it all, it'll still look okay. So once we get that one knot done, now we have to do the next knot, and the next knot is we take the right hand side, we cross that over and under, just like we did with the left to right. Now it's right to left. And now, in the same way that right was to left the first time around, left goes under, and then up and through, just like the right did. And then you can see, got another one of those knots again. So we do the same thing, slide that up, tighten that knot. And that is pretty much the basic building block for the rest of this craft. So we're just gonna keep going all the way through, and see how it keeps chugging along. So we started right to left last time. Now we go back to left over right, just like that. Then right goes under, up, and through. Nice little knot. This process just keeps going and going. So it's a nice, relaxing craft. And once you get the rhythm down, there really isn't much that's stopping you or gonna hiccup, as long as you are following the pattern. So we started left to right, now it's right to left, up and over and under, and then the left goes under and through. Yeah, there we go. And you can kind of see the start of the chain as it's going, which is really cool. Every time I do this, I think it's a Sesame Street song, and it's Grover who sings it, and he goes around, 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 and you go over, you go under, and you go through. It is silly, but it has helped me figure out the pattern to keep going as we move onward with more and more of the knots. So that was right over left, now we're back to left over right. Oop. Ah, here we go, that's right. I'm sorry, I was pulling on the wrong rope. I got myself confused. It kind of gets a little messy after a minute. All right, so now we're on to the last real step until we finish off the project. I made that knot wrong. See, that's what happens. I started talking about something different, and I did it wrong, because I was supposed to go this way. and over and under. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to add the bead. You gotta make sure you know where your bead is. And my bead is right here. So we're gonna try and fit the bead through both of these ropes. I did it one at a time the last time, but I know that that's a little bit frustrating for some people, but it's easier for most to do one at a time. So you get that through. Yeah, you're gonna have to, sometimes you're gonna have to really push. And that's what I was afraid of. So what I also do too is I like to twist to tighten, and then that's what I'll push through. So as I'm pushing through, kind of holding onto those two, I'm twisting it over, and then it pulls through. So now you have two ropes through the same bead. Slide the bead all the way to the top, like this. And then, what do? We go right back to making our nice little chain of knots. So we go over and under, and this goes under and through. And then we're back to this process. When you add the bead, it is going to get a little bit more cumbersome with getting the knots tied tight. The bead throws off a little bit of the trajectory of how it gets on there, so what you gotta do is just be patient and understand that it's not going to be the easiest, but it'll still work out for you in the end. I did that wrong again. Oops, that's all right. This way, I believe. Or did I just do the same thing again? I believe I just did the same thing again. Oh no, it's different. I believe. Yeah, it's different. Perfect. It's different. Yeah. So then we just keep going that way. So that was right over left. Now this is left over right. This way. So over and under. And this one goes under and then through. And then we just keep making that chain all the way up. Keep making that chain. And then after you've done this so many times, or at least the amount of times that you're comfortable with doing it, I'll show you what to do to finish this project. So we gotta go over and under. It's gonna get a little confusing with all the different ropes. You gotta make sure that you're keeping an eye on which ones are what, because it can get dicey fast if you're not taking into account where your ropes are. I think that was the fastest I've ever been able to tie that knot. Although I think I did mess this up. Did I? Yeah, I did. I went the wrong way. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the nice thing too. As long as you're not getting it super tight before you realize your mistake, it's super helpful, because once it gets super tight, it's going to be really difficult to undo, especially with how this rope can sometimes just start to fray on you when you don't want it to. I'm going to do it one more time, and then we're going to be done with the project. And then you can show off your new keychain macrame that you made. Tighten this one last time. Okay. Yeah. For symmetry's sake, this is the last one. This way. Right? Yeah, that was right. Perfect. All right. Now, To end the project, once you get your chain as far as you'd want it to go, you're gonna take all 4 ropes. So all 4 ends of the rope. You're gonna wanna loop them around a finger. So you can create a little loop like that. And then you're gonna feed all of the ropes through that loop. You can do it one at a time, you can do it all at once, but you just gotta make sure that each rope goes through each of the loops. Otherwise, you're gonna have a free floating rope and it's gonna be a bad time. Last one in. All right, and then we tighten the knot. If you wanna get it as close as you can to the chain, that's always a good start. I like to shift it, so when it gets too far down, I'll pull and then push from the bottom. So I'll pull from the middle and then push from the bottom. And when I get all the way done, give it a nice big tug, and then it creates that knot right at the end there. Now, you can cut this at the end, but I'm sure you're gonna notice that we have these little ties at the end of them. I realized when we were cutting all the ropes that they were fraying very, very badly. So we needed to do what's called whipping the rope. And it's when you take a piece of thread, sometimes it's smaller ropes if the rope is really thick, and you make a loop with it and you wrap it around. I'm not gonna be able to show you on this video because these hands are not gonna be able to nicely do them, but I highly recommend looking it up on YouTube. There's gonna be a link in the YouTube video with it, so you'll be able to just connect to that one as well to show you how to whip the end of the ropes if you decide to cut it. Otherwise, you can just keep making this all the way down. You don't have to end it right there. You can make it as long as you want it to be. I just know that a lot of people don't like long keychains, but that is how you make the macrame keychain. All right, thanks everybody.